Hey guys, girls and non-binary pals, it is Matt back with another video. Today we are doing something easy because I don't have to think at all. It's very no thoughts head empty. I'm just gonna be opening some books that I got for my birthday the other day on the 16th. I turned 25 and am I having an existential crisis? Maybe. It's like a third of my life gone. Um, but to fill that deep, deep pit of despair, we are gonna open some books today. I don't really remember what I got. I only remember one thing, really. Which, don't judge me. Don't judge me. But yeah, this is from Book Outlet. It's gonna be fun. Okay, don't judge me, but the first thing that I saw as soon as I opened this box was Vita Nostra, another copy. Um, as a lot of you guys probably know, this is my favorite book, even more than Malazan. And I just wanted a second copy that I can write in and not damage my pristine edition. So we have another Vita Nostra. Also, this can be one that I lend out to people because my pristine one is currently lent out and I want it back. But my favorite book, so we're just gonna put it back here where it's supposed to go. Perfection. Finally complete again. Next up, we have a book by Curtis Craddock, Book 2 in the Risen Kingdoms series, and it's called A Labyrinth of Science and Sorcery. This is a really, really fun steampunk series. If you're fans of like Tales of the Kitty J or The Aeronauts Windlass, anything in that kind of vibe, this is definitely a very, very great book. There are all of these different groups of people that have various types of magic. Everyone lives on floating isles that kind of orbit around. Everyone flies on airships to get around, and we are following an unfolding political situation with two characters: a very, very smart woman, a very, very, very sharp and clever woman, and then her kind of protector, godfather kind of figure. And yeah, it's just a really, really fun series. And so I am excited to get to this. I'm glad I got this. We have City of Lies by Sam Hawke. This is a book that is kind of slow in the beginning, but then it actually picks up quite a bit. I got a question on my video. I got a question on a video like a couple weeks ago asking me what are some good political fantasy series that I can think of, and this is one of the first things that came to mind. It's just a really, really fun series, and I would say that book 2 is actually a large improvement on the first book, which was already pretty solid, if you ask me. So, there's the third one down. My other favorite book, The Tyrant Baruch Cormorant. You guys know I love the Monster Brute Cormorant, I love the Trader Brute Cormorant, and now I have the Trifecta. Its hardcover is the only thing, but I don't think the softcover edition is out for this. And I really don't mind. They don't have to match. Lakewood. This is a book I honestly couldn't tell you a thing about. I kept seeing it on NetGalley. They never approved me for it. I wanted to read it. It sounded very, very cool. The cover is stunning. I think this cover is honestly gorgeous. It's so painterly and beautiful, and I'm a very big fan. But yeah, I have no idea what this is about. So I'm curious. It's a very short book though, so it seems like something I could easily knock out in like a day. This is almost like a novella, honestly. So you guys, this is a super fun series. I could have sworn that I had some of these books on my shelves somewhere, but for the life of me, I cannot find them. But yeah, look at this cover too. Gorgina. This is book 3 of The Song of the Shattered Sands by Bradley Bowdia. This is a really fun, epic desert fantasy following a young woman named Cheda. Cheda is a pit fighter in this city, at the beginning of the book anyway. Her mother was murdered by one of the 12 immortal kings that have ruled Sharakai for the last 400 years. These kings kind of rule this city and this country with an iron fist, and each of them has a different magical ability. There do seem to, however, be these kind of cryptic verses, and each of these verses focuses on a different king and tells of their weak points and what might be able to kill them. And so Cheda is kind of tracking those down, and she wants to get revenge for her murdered mother. But this blooms from so much more than just a revenge story. We got two or three other countries. We got Khmer, we got Malasan, and Sharakai all fighting against one another as the series goes on. We got blood magic. We got the Asirim, who are these almost like demonic, possessed revenants of people who've been killed by the kings and enslaved. It's very, very cool. Oh, nice. I I can't tell if I like this cover or not. This is Salute the Dark by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Adrian Tchaikovsky is a brilliant author. He's one of my favorites, honestly. I don't think that's something I've ever said before, but now that I think about it, yeah, he's fantastic. He has written so many books. He's written the Tiger and the Wolf trilogy. He's written the Shadow of the App series, which is 10 books long. He has written Children of Time and Children of Ruin, Doors of Eden, and my favorite book by him, Cage of Souls. It's fantastic. I have a review for it. I can link it up here on the cards. It's a much older video, but that is a great book. Anyway, the Shadow of the App series is a very large steampunk-esque, and no, it's more fantasy, but the Industrial Revolution has kind of begun, I guess, is what's going on. It's not so much steampunk. But this author is so imaginative in everything he does. For example, Children of Time is literally about a man-made virus that speeds up evolution accidentally being released onto insects, and now these insects, we're following generations of them as they become increasingly smart until they have like entire societies like ours. Like, that takes some serious imagination. And so this dude is awesome. And apparently he has a thing with bugs. So in this world, there are a whole bunch of different races. They're called Kindin. And so they're like the Beetle Kindin. They are one of the Apt races, and so they are the people who make the technology. There are the Wasp Kindin, so they are able to use their ancestor art to fly and like kind of shoot fireballs that are their stings. There are the Spider Kindin, the Mantis Kindin, etc., etc., and all of these different people have different aspects from the animals, from the insects that they're kind of related to. And so the Fly Kindin, for example, are tiny. They're really, really small. They're like 3 feet. The Mosquito Kindin, they drink blood and can use blood magic, etc., etc. And so this is, I think, the 4th book in this series, and it is a fantastic series. I cannot wait to read this and get deeper into it. So I'm super excited. I forgot I got this. Okay, here we go. Here is another Song of the Shattered Sands book. This is book 2. So the first book is 12 Kings in Sharakai with Blood Upon the Sands, Veil of Spears, When Jack Will Storm Walls, and then the next book comes out in the summer. But yeah, I've already talked about this. Great series. Okay, this is fun. Right here we have a little novella. This is Over the Woodward Wall by Asphodel Deborah Baker. Now, if you've read the book Middle Game, you might recognize that name. The book Middle Game, I actually think I review it in the same video as I talk about Cage of Souls, but in Middle Game, there's basically a weird kind of almost like a Dr. Seuss type story that in universe many kids grew up reading, and it's about these two people called Avery and Zib, these two kids, and they are And so in Middle Game, there is a fictional book that's almost like Dr. Seuss like that most kids are familiar with in the story. And the story is almost like a portal fantasy that tells of a young girl and a boy, two kids named Avery and Zib. One of them is very good at math, the other one is very good at languages. I believe. No, scratch that. But it follows these two kids, and they basically go on an adventure to the up and under. But in Middle Game, turns out that this book was written by an alchemist and has a whole bunch of kind of secret hidden meanings and clues that the right person might be able to decipher in order to, further the plot of Middle Game. Now, that book is by Shauna Maguire, so it turns out Asphodel Deborah Baker is her pen name, and she actually wrote the fictional book. She actually wrote the fictional book from Middle Game and turned it into a real book, following Avery and Zib. So that's what this is, and this is tiny. I could read it in a couple hours. So I'm actually very, very, very curious to see what happens with this one. Okay, then I got a thick boy. This is a book that is a very, very just like large, thick traditional fantasy. This is one that I started as an audiobook, and I got, I don't know, maybe like this far into it before saying like, yeah, like 110 pages maybe into it before saying I have to put down the audiobook and pick it up physically. Because this is just very, very dense. I listen to a lot of epic fantasy fine as audiobooks, but with this one I was just kind of getting lost. So, you guys, I explained that book, Spine of the Dragon by Kevin Anderson, really badly, so I'm just going to do it again here. So, basically, the story follows two human societies, the Commonwealth and the Asharans. They're separated by an ocean, but they are at each other's throats and have been for ages. But now, in the Commonwealth, on that continent, they are facing a new threat, the Reths. The Reths are an elder race who actually created humanity a couple thousand years ago after their god created them. And they are split into two factions and are also at each other's throats. And so a big Reth war is going to begin on the Commonwealth continent again, and we see the characters have to deal with this situation. And so that's basically what the book's about. I did end up actually finishing the audiobook, and so I decided that I am going to be doing a giveaway for the physical copy of Spine of the Dragon. So to enter this giveaway for Spine of the Dragon, all you have to do is share the video, and along with that, comment down below letting me know that you shared it, and also comment what your favorite modern classic fantasy book is. Something that was written more recently, but that feels classic in tone. So if you want to win this book, that's all you have to do. Good luck, you guys. You have very good odds since my channel is pretty small. So may the odds be ever in your favorite. Bye. Can you see me losing steam with this video? Oh god. Next up, we have Priest of Lies, War for the Rose Throne by Peter McLean. There was basically a war in this world. There is a dude named Thomas Piety. He is a soldier, but also just like kind of a gangster. And he returns to his city and basically has to deal with a major shit show. That's all I'm going to say about this book. It's actually very, very good. I want to get to book 2 really soon, and I think book 3 comes out not too far from now. This is actually a really, really great book. It's fun, it's fast, it's easy to read, and I'm excited to get to book 2. Kept popping up on Audible for me. And I got it, listened to a little bit of it, and said the same thing that I did with Spine of the Dragon. I said I need to pick up a physical copy of this because it's a little too much to listen to. Can't tell you what it's about, but it says the world ended, humanity didn't, and it has this really gorgeous cover. I really like this concept art. I think it's beautiful. But praise for this book. This recalls the whiz-bang joy and gleeful innovation of Neal Stephenson's Snow Crash. I have not read Snow Crash, but Neal Stephenson is a great author. Seven Eves is a fantastic book, and Anathem is very, very interesting. It says here, the world ended, humanity didn't. Ruby Whitting is a member of the Bounce Back generation, the first to be raised free of the troubles of the late 21st century. Now she works as a public defender to help troubled individuals with antisocial behavior. That's how she met Luciano Pox. Luce is a firebrand and has made a name for himself as a naysayer, but there's more to him than being a lightning rod for controversy. Ruby has to find out why the governments of the world want to bring Luce into custody, and why Luce is hell-bent on stopping the recovery of the planet. Interesting. So, yeah, I think this will be fun to get to. And then last up, I believe we have the thickest book of... Yeah, we definitely have the thickest book here. This is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. She just released a book called Piranesi recently that I really, really want to get to. I actually might download it on Audible as soon as I stop filming. Maybe I'll listen to it when I'm going to sleep. Oh, it's a little ripped. But this is a very, very interesting book. It's a very long story spanning like quite a bit of time, and it's basically following two English sorcerers. It takes place in England. Magic is really, really, really fading from the world. It's almost gone, but there are a few magicians who are able to kind of cling on to some scraps of magic. Mr. Norrell is one of them. Jonathan Strange wants to kind of learn from Norrell, but he ends up becoming very, very magical himself. For one, we get to see the Sidhe, like we get to see the fairies that populate English mythology, and we get to step into their world sometimes and see how their magic works. And we follow just like a lot of different threads. This is a chunky book. This could definitely be abridged into something that's a lot easier to read. This reminds me, honestly, and this is going to be joyous news for some people and complete tedium for others. But this book kind of reminds me of something like War and Peace or Anna Karenina. This kind of reminds me of like Anna Karenina or War and Peace, maybe even Outlander a bit. It's a much slower paced book. It's very, very, very character focused. It's very character driven, but in the sense that people aren't constantly doing things at breakneck pace. So the characters are driving the plot, but the characters also aren't doing much sometimes. That being said, there are other times where like Jonathan Strange is battling Napoleon with magic, which is really cool and badass. But yeah, this is just a wonderful, wonderful book. It takes a while to get through, it takes a while to get into, but I think if you stick with it until, I don't know, you're probably like 100 pages in, I think it could really, really suck you in and you'd enjoy the rest of it. This is a book that a lot of people love. I haven't heard a lot of hate for this book, but I do imagine it's out there because it's so slow paced. But yeah, it seems like that is everything I got for my birthday. So I definitely have some fun new things to check out. I'm reading Rejoice, A Knife to the Heart by Fantasy Daddy Stephen Erickson. But after I finish that, I will pick up one of these. Maybe, I think I'll probably pick up Salute the Dark by Adrian Tchaikovsky. If I had to tell you to read one series from this book haul, it would definitely be Song of the Shattered Sands. If you want a super fun, fast-paced desert fantasy, that is going to be the book for you. If you want something slower, go with Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Anyway, and that's all I have for you guys. I am going to sign off and go to bed. Bye.